What's up everyone, this is CyberKnight 8610, and today we have a deck profile using the Pap-corn deck. Yes, I know you guys have been requesting this. I used it in a few duels and it's worked out great. One of the most hilarious and weird name cards. Actually, it's very strong, and this is basically the boss monster of this deck. So here we go. First off, we have 3 of the Pap-corn's awesome card with the field spells and all, like the Orichalcos. It becomes a very powerful monster, even with a very funny name. We also are using the Malefic engine. I tried out the Plan engine. I prefer the Malefics and Yugioh stuff because it seemed to work a lot better. Let's see, we're using the 3 Malefic Cyber End Dragons, and then 1 of the Stardust. They seem to work out great. They're like secondary boss monsters because, of course, Pap-corn's the boss monster of this deck. What's wrong with you? Also, we are trying out 3 of the Giant Rats. It helps out a lot. It's basically my search engine, helps me get cards like Pap-corn, helps me get Pathfinder, and yeah, it really does help out a lot. And also, with the Orichalcos, it becomes a very powerful monster. It'll become a 1,900 attack, which is very nice. 1 Sanyan, just to kind of help out with some searching. 3 Thunder King Rouse. I'm trying these out. I mean, some people, I'm sure, would want to try out like tour guides and stuff. Even though the card is cheaper now, I would kind of prefer using Thunder King. I'm kind of, choosing Thunder King over a tour guide on this. I kind of like it because it helps against most meta decks, which is honestly kind of the weakness to this deck, is because it's not a meta deck. It's still, more just for fun, and it has a hard time against them. So I do like the Thunder King, of course, with the high attack and everything. It does help out a lot. In a lot of different situations, it can save you. So I prefer using 3 of these. Let's see, we have 3 of the Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon. Helps out a lot. Of course, you gotta have it because of the Yugioh engine, so you can special summon these easy. Use it with trade-in. It's an amazing card. Does help out, with that good attack, 3,000 attack. It's just another high attack monster that can really save you in a lot of situations. Planet Pathfinder. This is one of the newer cards, of course, in Abyss Rising. A lot of people have been looking over. It is kind of like a terraforming in monster form, I guess you could say. With Giant Rat, I can, of course, find it a little easier. And, of course, it's not that bad. It really does come in handy in certain situations. So I'm kind of trying out 2 of these, and it's actually really helpful. Because sometimes I would have some trouble getting monsters, with that can at least even defend me. And because you do have so many higher level monsters on this. So, yeah, I really do like the Pathfinders. They really have saved me in certain situations. 2 trade-ins helps me out with my draw engine. Basically the only draw engine I have. I mean, when you think about it, with Gadgetron and everything, it really does help out. And of course, you can use Malefic Stardust, I believe. Yeah, Malefic Stardust and all that too. So yeah, you can just combo that and then draw 2 cards. And, because most of the time you're not going to go for the Stardust. That's why I'm only running 1. You're going to want to go for Cyber End. Terraforming, using 1 of those, just kind of that for the extra search. I'm only trying 1 since I'm trying out the 2 Pathfinders for now. 3 Gear 10, you gotta have those, of course, for the Gadgetrons and everything. It gives me the extra field spell, a great field spell, probably one of the best ones in the game, because it does help you get a higher level monster when it's destroyed, and that's really awesome, There aren't many cards out there that you want to be destroyed to help you out, It doesn't happen that often, so it does help out a lot with the, Heavy Storm and stuff in this format, so yeah. The Seal of Orichalcos, one of the main cards of this deck. It's too bad it has that last line of its effect where you can only use once per duel. So that's a really unfortunate thing, because I would love to be able to run like 3 of these in the deck. It helps out a lot, makes Pap-corn a 2,700 attack monster if my math is correct, which is ridiculous, and then other monsters still very powerful. The card is so good in a lot of ways, but it does have its negative things, too. That's why you gotta run 1 of them, of course, because like I said, you can only activate it once per duel. And it does come in handy, though, a lot, so I really think it's fun to use. Let's see, Pot of Avarice. Recycles cards like Giant Rat and stuff, helps out on that. And, of course, a little bit of draw engine, kind of. Like I said, basically trade-ins are only draw engine, but that helps out, of course, as well. And now we kind of go to the staple stuff where we have, like, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. 2 Dualities. I'm testing these out on there. It does add to consistency. I really haven't had too much of a negative side effect where you can't special summon, on there, because, it just hasn't really been too much of a problem yet. I'm kind of surprised by that, actually. I figured it would get in the way of my special summoning. But yeah, it's just really not that much of a problem. Mind Control, it's good if you want to, take up one of your opponent's monsters to exceed. It's kind of a tech card, really, I would say. Even in some duels I've used it, it was just kind of funny just to take one of my opponent's monsters that like is stalling or whatever, and that way they can't defend themselves. You know, that's also a good combo for this card. You know, it's not always just a take to exceed or whatever. And also, if they have Utopia, you can take it and then use a Hope Ray over that card, which is our Utopia Ray, whatever you want to say, to exceed over it, and then you get to keep it, which is pretty awesome. Due to the traps, we're using 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warnings, your basic stuff. I'm taking in a Torrential Tribute, just in case things go wrong, I can destroy the whole field. Because most decks are going to be faster than this one. This one doesn't swarm too much. It can do pretty well, but, you know, there are some that swarm a lot faster. And, of course, 2 Boundless Trap Hole. Helps out, especially against rabbits, and, which sounds hilarious to say that, you know, gotta protect the corn from the rabbits using Bottomless Trap Hole. On side decks, of course, in all of my deck profiles, I never show a side deck because I believe that it depends on where you're at, your locals and stuff, what you're facing in your locals, to what your side deck's going to be. So I feel like it's kind of waste, and I usually just don't use side decks on Dueling Network. Let's see. For the extra deck, we have 3 Cyber End Dragons. Helps out, of course, you gotta have them because of the Malefic Cyber End. It's just that basic. And 2 Stardust for the Malefic Stardust. It does what it needs to. I've been debating on using Starlight Road. That's why mainly the second Stardust is there. I should, you know, but I don't really care on the extra deck too much because I'm not really, besides using the stuff for the Malefics, I'm not really Exceed summoning or anything too often because of the seal. But I am kind of having a variety of different Exceed monsters, like Fun-On Butterfly Assassin. That's what I'm going to call it. That's its name to me. That was its Japanese name. I prefer to call it that because it's much easier to pronounce. Eva Gishki Mirageist, amazing card. It's one of those underrated ones like Butterfly Assassin was. You know, all of a sudden people are realizing that Mirageist is actually a really good card as well, and pretty cheap to get. Good for budget players. Let's see, Gemnite Pearl, another good card, of course. 2 Maestros, you know, they don't need explanations either. Trying out the Gaga Cowboy. I've been trying it out in a lot of different decks, of course, lately, especially whenever, you know, it was out only in Japan. And it does help out a lot. I'm kind of surprised to see that a lot of people are just now realizing that the card is good. You're now starting to see the discussions over it and stuff, and seeing it in meta decks. And it's always been a good card. It's kind of surprised me that people sometimes take a while to realize that. But yeah, I think it's an amazing card. I at least run 1 in just about every extra deck I use right now in most of the duels. Let's see, we have 2 Utopias. I feel like those are staples. Utopia Ray, just because we have the room for it, and of course, like I said, the mind control thing. And I threw in a Shopmaster. I don't know, I was thinking I had the room to, and it's not really impossible to do, so why not? I mean, with the giant rats and stuff, I usually have monsters on the field, so, you know, we have the extra room, why not do that? So yeah, that is the deck. It's a lot of fun to use. There's still some things I want to work out on it. Like I said, the extra deck is basically what you want it to be on this. You can change it up the way you want. I'm mainly just trying out a different variety of cards just for different situations. Like I said, you really won't be Exceed summoning too often. I mean, it's just, you just won't because the Silver Orichalcos will more likely get in the way. So yeah, that's that. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Remember to not doubt the power of Pap-corn, especially with the power of the seal, and it is unbeatable. I would like to see Yugi have to face this in that one season where he does fight against people with the Silver Orichalcos. I don't know if that was like a 5th, 4th season or whatever, but yeah, that would have been hilarious to see him go against Pap-corn. But yeah, please tell me if you guys have some, you know, constructive ideas on how to make this deck better, and try it out on Dueling Network, or if you have the cards. I'm still missing a few of the cards, that's why I didn't, of course, build the deck myself in real life, and I still feel like I'm still testing it and stuff, too, before I actually want to build it. So probably the next deck profile, when we do an update, I'll actually have the cards for people that want to do that, you know, like to see actual cards. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting me while watching, hit that like button and subscribe, it really does help me out, and next I guess we'll have the Slushy deck profile, so hit that like button if you want to see the Slushy deck profile, because I am just that freaking crazy to do that. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great day. Later, guys. Hope you've enjoyed my latest video. Be sure to check out the next and previous buttons that are down below so you can see some of the past and future videos that I've made, and also be sure to check out the 2 featured videos that are on both sides of me. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Later, guys.